Well, Fani Willis, this is not looking good for you right now. Boy, y'all thought Donald Trump was just that man's Teflon Don for real.
It's got to get to Fulton County, Georgia. And here we go. A Georgia Court of Appeals has disqualified the Fulton County DA, Fani Willis, from that election interference case. It's coming down right now. The case against Trump and more than a dozen others already largely stalled, as you know. The new ruling means that it will be up to the prosecuting attorney's council in the state of Georgia to find another prosecutor to decide on the case, to take it over and make a decision as to whether or not they continue with a prosecution of the incoming president.
And no one believes that that's going to happen. I'm sure Fani Willis is probably going to appeal this if she can. But it's already been stated that if someone else has to take over this case, it's like no way in hell that anybody's going to try to go after the incoming president-elect Donald Trump on this. So this case is going to be dismissed just like the rest of them.
And former Deputy Assistant Attorney General John Yoo is here. John, does this mean that this is yet another one of the cases against Trump that could go away before he's president?
It's another example, Dana, of this lawfare campaign that was waged by Democrats, boomeranging back on them and falling all around their ears. Anyone who watched this trial, remember, this is the DA who claimed that the entire Trump reelection campaign was something like an organized crime racket that was intending to deprive everyone of our civil rights to vote. But remember, we saw the dramatic testimony over the summer of how DA Fani Willis had hired her boyfriend, essentially, to be the special counsel, overpaid him, and then had him investigate and bring charges against Donald Trump. It's a complete conflict of interest. And if you take a quick look at the Georgia Appeals Court decision here, that's what it says. There's such an appearance of impropriety, an appearance of a conflict of interest that Fani Willis should not be the prosecutor. I think this spells yet another case that's going to have to either be suspended or more likely just ended and tossed out. It's hard for me to see another Georgia district attorney wanting to take up this flawed case and try to.
And I think when they first started this case, they tried to get other lawyers to take on the case, and nobody wanted to take it. Nobody wanted to go after Donald Trump. They knew it was death to their careers. And so Fani Willis got her little boyfriend, and he took it on. Like they said, she paid him good money, but every time he was put on the stand or someone asked him questions, he don't recall why he had meetings. He didn't have any notes written down of any cases. This dude said everything was up here, but yet when you ask him, what do you remember? It's like he don't recall. Man, that dude was doomed from the jump. But this is one of them cases, like I told people, like especially black women in general, the Democratic Party was going to use y'all as the face of everything they was going to do to try to get Trump off the ballot. And that's all this was. But y'all didn't see it. But black men, we saw it. We saw the play. We're like, because y'all thought black men were hating because y'all becoming district attorneys, y'all becoming mayors, y'all becoming these judges, y'all getting these positions of power, y'all being seen on TV, y'all pushed out in the front, backbone of the Democratic Party. All that bullcorn, but yet we were like, when you do critical thinking and get your emotions out of it, we're like, something ain't right. Because them folk don't ever put nothing out there. Them folk don't change, man. People do not change. What I said, a tiger does not change its stripes. It's something behind what they're doing. They're using y'all. But, like I said, y'all thought we was hating. But we're like, no, they're using y'all because it's got to be something. There's a motive behind it because they're not just doing it out of the kindness of their heart because they never have done it. They never have done it. And so now we see, as time went on, we saw what the play was. They were using y'all to push all these Democratic ideologies, these new supreme left wing thoughts of the the abortions, the LMNOP community, all that, that kind of stuff, trying to send money overseas, bringing, allowing migrants to come in. And let's do what we can to get racist Donald Trump off of the ballot because he's so racist and he hates black people so much. You can't put him in. He's a Republican. And while at the same time, again, you got a president who is known to be a racist, to hang in racist circles throughout his life. He can change, y'all feel, but can't nobody else change. And when you talk about Donald Trump, you're talking about things that happened decades ago, too. So what's the difference? But anyway, the play was just to get Donald Trump off the ballot because they knew, they knew they could not beat him. They could not do the same play they did the time that Joe Biden won. They knew that wasn't going to work anymore because it's too much investigations going into. People got too many questions about how in the heck this man got so many votes overnight and end up beating Donald Trump. It didn't make sense. So they used black women in this DEI stuff to get them votes. Once all that stuff started falling apart, now you saw the DEI programs taking, wiped out. You seeing these mayors and these sheriffs and the district attorneys being prosecuted. The black women being prosecuted, business being put out there on Front Street and everything. And they just pushing y'all. They trying to get something like, there was some judge. I did a story a while back about these black judges out there and how these white politicians knew the loopholes and were using the loopholes to keep certain judges off the ballot. And then the black women are trying to holler racism, but it ain't racism. You can't use that. You can't use racism because racism is something that you can't prove. Intent, you can't prove racist intent. Unfortunately, legally. So you can't say it was racism. These people just knew the law. And they know your blackness don't know the law like they know the law. That's why you look at your girl Tiffany Henry going through what she going through, trying to do the same corrupt stuff, using taxpayers' monies to do things, do her own thing, and saying third thought she's gonna get away with it, but she don't know how to play the game like the people who's been in it all their life, all their life. Like Nancy Pelosi, Joe Biden, people who we say should done been retired, but still in here making millions upon millions, hand over fist. And y'all are being played as passive. So now you're getting disqualified. What was that judge when he told you that it seemed like there's some deception going on because you and your boyfriend, Nate, out here got a relationship. Hey, you was with the dude like a month ago about a month or so ago when your daughter got pulled over and had to go to jail and, pay bond or whatever for whatever reason. Your pregnant daughter got pulled over. Your dumb tail walked up, went to that scene with him together, looking like y'all just woke up together, but yet y'all ain't kicking it. Y'all ain't in no relationship.
Prosecute Trump on these theories that his reelection campaign was some kind of criminal organized crime enterprise.
John, a couple of things here. There are 14 others that face charges. I don't know what happens to them, but she can appeal to the state Supreme Court in Georgia. But given what the Supreme Court said in Washington about immunity, I mean, does the state Supreme Court even take her case in Georgia?
It's a good question, Bill. I think what's going to happen here, along the lines of possible appeals and so on, is it looks likely, because of that presidential immunity decision by the Supreme Court, that any kind of state prosecution of President Trump would have to be at least suspended, if not dropped. You're seeing that going on, those arguments going on right now up in New York City with the case being heard by Judge Merchan. So even if they could get past immunity, they'd still have to suspend it while President Trump was in office. But furthermore, you'd have to go back and then scrub the whole indictment, scrub everything the grand jury did, and say you've got to eliminate anything that used official actions by President Trump, any evidence that came in from White House officials, from anything the president was doing in the Oval Office. That might actually fatally handicap this prosecution and require the whole thing to be dismissed.
It's interesting, too, because she had this novel way of trying to get at him through RICO. Was that a mistake as well? In addition to her personal behavior, obviously, is what they're saying here. But in a way, it was this like novel idea of like, how can I be the one to take Trump down? That's for like politically, she wanted that reputation.
Yeah. Dana, you and I remember we're Justice Department alums. Yeah, I remember you when you were there and I was there and we were, there after the days of 9/11. And you can use this kind of statute, RICO, to try to go after real organized crime, drug.
You want to know the most dangerous people for black women who really have black women like her? Because we're talking about emotion now, not all, but women like her who power hungry, who want to step on anybody to make their bones, are preachers and white men. People like Fani Willis are the same people who say that black men are the white men of black women, some crap like that. And we're like, what do you mean? Because we try to oppress y'all. When in fact, all we really try to do is have y'all see this from our perspective. This is one reason why the whole man has to take care of his house and run his house, no questions asked. Stop trying to be liked by everyone in your household. Do what's right. And trust me, they'll be better for it. They say that most men, 75% of all men, are hated, disliked by their family. And we get to a point where we don't even care because we don't care if you like us or hate us, but you're going to respect the rules. You're going to respect what we say, what we do, because none of us are trying to hurt ourselves. We marry you. We have y'all as children. You are our responsibilities, real men. And you can see this early, women. You should, if you get to know a person, that we ain't gonna do nothing to hurt ourselves. And if you are along for the ride with us, that means you are a part of us and you are going to benefit from us. If I go out here and I invest in company stock, businesses, or go to work overtime, trying to make all this bread, go out here and hustle, trying to make money, you're going to benefit from it, right? You're going to benefit from my work. Whether I get the credit or not, you're supposed to benefit from it because I'm not going to do anything to hurt you. One thing I know about women in general is that they will burn the house down to prove a point. And what's my statement? Do you want to win or do you want to be right? It's a simple question. Do you want to win or do you want to be right? Because you can win and still win and be wrong and things still mess up. You know what I'm saying? Or you can be right and still lose. But one, you got to pick one or the other. And in this case, she wanted to win, but she wasn't right. She wanted to win, but winning, and now her career is pretty much in jeopardy at this point. Her public career.
Drug cartels, mafia organizations. DA Fani Willis introduced, I think, a really dangerous theory was that we could use these powerful tools that are used for terrorists and drug cartels and apply them to political campaigns, and not just any political campaign, but the campaign by the leading opposition candidate at that time, Donald Trump, the head of one of the two major parties in the country. I think ultimately the whole thing would have been tossed out because it violated the free speech rights of Donald Trump, the free speech rights of the Republican Party, and actually a lot of Americans who supported him. So I think in the end, this whole thing was going to come crashing down around Fani Willis's and the Democratic Party's ears. Anyway.
Trying to get him, you know what I'm saying, and trying to get a man for RICO, but then you actually participating in voter suppression. What they call it, voter suppression, election interference. That's what it is. Election interference, coming up with all these charges, Georgia, New York, is it Florida too? Whatever, all these states, Colorado trying to kick them off the ballot. Y'all was just trying to kick a man off the ballot for no reason. Is that not the craziest thing I ever seen in my life? And it backfired on you.
Well, it seemed complicated from the beginning.
But again, we tried to tell y'all, these folk out here, they don't see y'all the way y'all think they seeing y'all. They telling y'all one thing, but they using you for something else. And you ain't want to hear it. You ain't want to hear it. We, you know what I'm saying? We hate women. We hate black women. We MAGA. We voting for Donald Trump. That's not what it was. That's not what it was. It was that, man, don't trust these folk. Trust us. What the song say? You got to believe in the movie The Car Wash, man. Richard Pryor, you got to believe in something. Why not believe in me? Trust what I'm telling you. I see the play, but nope, you didn't want to believe it. So now you have this.
There is that case here in New York that's still out there, the 34 counts in Judge Merchan's courtroom. He made a ruling about a week ago that the conviction still stands, but the penalty will be judged at a later date. John, do you think that later date ever happens now?
I think this is Judge Merchan really still trying to go after Donald Trump. You think about it. If you look, Bill, you mentioned the presidential immunity case. There's a footnote, a really important footnote in that opinion that says states, even if they're prosecuting a president for private acts, can't use evidence from the presidency. They can't use what Donald Trump said in the Oval Office. They can't use what White House officials said. Nevertheless, Judge Merchan went ahead and held a trial and introduced that kind of evidence. He should, at the very least, order a new trial, if not force a DA to go back to it. But what Merchan is doing, which I think is still dangerous, is he's dangling these charges still, the sentencing, over the head of Donald Trump and saying, well, I can't sentence you now. Maybe I won't. He still probably, he could try to get him before the inauguration, but he shouldn't. But he's going to say, I'm going to dangle that over your head for the next 4 years, and I'm going to be waiting for you when your presidency is over.
Well, you have to think he's doing the work of Alvin Bragg, right, Dana? At the moment. And he works for the DA, right, John?
I don't know.
I wouldn't say he's doing. I'm sure Bragg loves this idea because Bragg is trying to make his career out of harassing President Trump. And this is a terrible thing for not just Donald Trump, for all Americans because of the presidency. You don't want presidents to have to try to make the toughest decisions on behalf of the country and have to worry, what's going to happen to me when I come out of office? Is this, two-bit
You have to be able to have clear decision making, indeed. John, you stick around for a moment. We have some other breaking news. Bill?
Yeah. I'm Steve Ducey. I'm Brad.
So, yeah, Fani Willis, your career is probably pretty much down the toilet right now. You can go back to being like a regular judge with you and Nate. What's Nate's last name? I forgot. Anyway, y'all can go kick it and live happily ever after and, you know what I'm saying, think about what you did. But anyway, I'm sure there's going to be more to this story later on, so we'll stay on top of it. Like I say, it's breaking news right now. But, yeah, they're finna kill that case. Yeah, because because ain't nobody going to pick it back up. People already said that if Fani Willis get kicked off this case, nobody else is going to even take this. It's career suicide. People are trying to die in office. You understand? In politics, they don't retire. They do this forever. They make good money and they live comfortably, and they're not trying to go back to the regular world. But anyway, tell me what you think about this story. Leave your comments below. Share it with the world. You know what we do. Till next time.